motivation pitch. Yeah. So what is it for?
It's for my Corporate Entrepreneurship class under Sir Ignacio.
Who are your group mates?
Kimberly, Angara, Ramin, and Razon.
So before we fully get into it, would you mind if I ask you some questions regarding the company?
Sure, no problem.
Okay, so first question, what is the name of the company?
It's Atlas International Incorporated.
What does it do?
It's door-to-door, balikbayan box shipment and packaging.
Where is the company based?
Here in the Philippines.
Founded in what year?
1993.
Okay, so that's a long time. How many branches are there in the Philippines?
There are 8 branches here in the Philippines.
What does it strive to do?
It tries to expand its services through their subsidiaries and services being offered.
Okay, that's great. So which countries are the services being offered to?
USA, Canada, Italy, UK, Norway, Dubai, and of course the Philippines.
Wow, that's a lot. So it's
I know,
very
right?
international.
I know.
Okay, so do you know the target market of the company?
The target market is the overseas Filipino workers.
How are the packages being transferred?
They transfer via trucks and container ships.
How does the company make profit?
By strictly implementing the rule that any outsourced packaging will be shouldered by the customer.
And for our last question, what are the other subsidiary services being offered?
Atlas Express Brokerage, Atlas Travel and Tours, and the 7,107 Islands Placement Agency.
Okay, so I think that's all we need to know about the company. Thank you, Kay.
Thank you!
According to the financial manager, Mr. Antonio Eugenio, for the past 15 years, although financial reports aren't disclosed to the public, Atlas is far from having its core services into the declining stage. He also added that they are confident in the next 10 years. Mr. Longares, the CEO, keeps on venturing to different kinds of services to achieve Atlas' mission, which is to find ways in improving services to the customers. They also believe that Atlas isn't limited to shipping, it's also to improve the life of our fellow Filipinos all around the world.
The proponents proposes that Atlas should offer their idle trailer trucks for hire or for short-term rentals when it is not being utilized, most especially when their container vans have not arrived in their pier yet. So the proponents informed Mr. Eugenio about this and asked if he knows some MSME that hires trailer trucks for their services. He forwarded the proponents to potential customers as to for hire Atlas trailer trucks. This is Outbox Logistics, a forwarding company and is located in Parañaque as well. Last company is the HTI at Manila and Cavite. The proponents called the Outbox Logistics first, but they were not interested. The proponents then called HTI, and unfortunately for the proponents, they answered and found out that they are actually looking for more trailer trucks to help them in their operations. HTI has over 200 trailer trucks and they have about 1,400 imported and exported international containers weekly. According to HTI, having only over 207 trailer trucks are not enough to achieve their goals. HTI offered Atlas to subcontract for her Atlas's trailer trucks as to help them in HTI's operations. Atlas has only 10 trailer trucks for operations, and in average, their normal business operations off-season, only 5 trucks are being utilized, leaving 5 other trailer trucks idle. According to Mr. Eugenio onto why Atlas owns a lot of trailer trucks, he stated that during their season operation, Atlas almost uses 7 trailer trucks to operate during peak seasons. During August and January, other 3 would be for the days that needs more truck power. Sometimes other trailer trucks are in maintenance or in the workshop for some fixing, but most of the time they are in idle. Indeed, an average of 7 trailer trucks are only needed during peak seasons to get those container vans. With this, the proponents will clarify that the proposed venture should be effective if and only if there are idle trailer trucks, regardless of peak season or not. Atlas is being offered 10,000 pesos for importing and 9,000 pesos for exporting. HTI's container operations, import and export delivery should be in equal ratio, as HTI will pay Atlas 9,500 in average, effective immediately. With the data given, the proponents are going to use 3 idle trailer trucks and 7 trailer trucks will be used for Atlas's business operations.
Kim discussed the proposal and how is it going to be applied in Atlas Shippers International Incorporated. Now I would be discussing the advantages and disadvantages that comes with this proposal. I will begin by discussing the disadvantages. First would be the increase in cost in terms of the drivers and his helpers allowance, other fees such as toll gate and terminal fee, and of course the gasoline. This is further explained in our cost-benefit analysis, which will be discussed further in the pitch. The second would be the increased risk of container truck damage, since the then idle trucks or container vans will be utilized with the implementation of this proposal. So since it will be rented by an external party or an external entity, then there is a risk that that party can damage the truck. And of course, our Atlas Shippers International Incorporated has to cover those repairs and maintain in order to maintain the trucks properly. Last disadvantage would be the container truck deterioration. Similar with other equipments and other materials, container trucks also depreciates over time. And if these container vans or container trucks will be rented out, then the probability of the container trucks deteriorating over a shorter period of time will definitely increase. However, given the said disadvantages, there are definitely some advantages that comes with this proposal. First would be that drivers' productivity will definitely be maximized through this proposal, since it was one of the main problems is that drivers are also idle, since some trucks are not being utilized properly or are not being maximized. So of course, some of the drivers are just lounging around in the office or in the warehouse. So through this proposal, the drivers then will have something to do. Next one would be the increased profit for the company, since besides from the shipping services that they offer, they will have another way of attaining profit. And lastly would be the maximization of companies' resources, which is the main problem that we are trying to address, as mentioned by the company, since the idle trucks will be utilized and also the drivers who are usually idle will end up being productive.